Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. The decision of the Indian government yesterday to call off the foreign secretary level talks with Pakistan has received mixed reactions. The political parties have predictably reacted on political lines, though the analysts and experts seem to be divided in their opinion. Meanwhile, the Pakistan High Commissioner, who has been told that his meetings with the Hurriyat leaders is not being taken kindly, continued to meet the leaders today also. The question now is, how should the Indian government react to it? Is there any way in which the government can curb the Hurriyat leaders from meeting the Pakistan High Commissioner, and whether such curbs are desirable? What would be the impact of this continued meetings with the Pakistan Envoy? What is the impact of the cancellation of the foreign secretary level talks in Kashmir? We will discuss all this today with Vijay Goel, BJP MP in the Rajya Sabha, MK Bhadra, former ambassador, Dr. Radha Kumar, interlocutor on Kashmir during the previous UPA regime, Siddharth Varadarajan, senior journalist, and on the phone line from Srinagar will be Saifuddin, Congress MP in the Rajya Sabha, and Sharifuddin Shariq, National Conference, former MP of the National Conference. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Vijay Goel, you think that, what the government did yesterday, it was received with mixed reactions. A lot of people welcomed it, a lot of people had doubts about it. But today, the Pakistan High Commissioner continues to meet the Hurriyat leaders. So what do you think should be the stand of the government as far as the Pakistan High Commissioner is concerned?
देखिए, मैं ये समझता हूँ कि भारत सरकार ने बिल्कुल ठीक कदम उठाया इस बात को लेकर कि जिस समय विदेश सचिवों की बैठक होनी थी, उस समय के ऊपर पाकिस्तान के उच्चायुक्त हुर्रियत लीडर से मिल रहे हैं, अलगाववादी ताकतों से मिल रहे हैं, तो उसको भारत सरकार ने बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं समझा, इसलिए विदेश सचिव की मीटिंग को कैंसिल कर दिया है। तो मैं समझता हूँ अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा ये संदेश है पाकिस्तान की सरकार को। और अभी पाकिस्तान की सरकार का जो रवैया चल रहा है, उसको देखते हुए यही लगता है कि वह भारत के खिलाफ जब तक नहीं बोले तब तक उनकी वहाँ राजनीति नहीं चलती है। तो मैं समझता हूँ अपने आप में ये सफिशिएंट है पाकिस्तान को मैसेज देने के लिए।
अच्छा, तो so you don't think the government needs to do anything as far as the meetings of the Pakistan High Commissioner with the Hurriyat leaders are concerned?
ये सरकार को देखना है कि मामले को कितना आगे बढ़ाना है। मैं समझता हूं कि इससे पहले भी पाकिस्तान के जो लोग आते थे वे हुर्रियत लीडरों से मिलते थे, पर उनको कोई संदेश नहीं गया था। पर अब विदेश सचिवों की वार्ता समाप्त करने से जो संदेश गया है, उसके बाद अगर ये एक दो हुर्रियत लीडर को मिलते भी हैं, उसका कोई पर्पस, उसका कोई मतलब रह नहीं जाता है।
ओके, दैट्स इंटरेस्टिंग। मिस्टर सैफुद्दीन सोज, Congress, during your government, in the past 10 years when your government was there have been these kind of meetings between the Hurriyat leaders and the Pakistan High Commissioner, and others also who has come here. But now, why is it that the Congress is taking such a hard stand on this? And what do you expect the government to do now that the Pakistan High Commissioner is continuing to meet the Hurriyat leaders?
Look here, the chief, Mr. Manish Tiwari rightly reminded Modi government that during UPA they criticized UPA government for allowing meetings between the Hurriyat leadership and the High Commissioner of Pakistan in India. Right. I am one of those who has never liked Hurriyat leaders going to Pakistan High Commission because that doesn't solve any problem for them. But having said this, Government of India, Modi government could have expressed a measured reaction to Hurriyat meeting Pakistan High Commissioner. They would say that they could express displeasure. But cancelling or postponing meeting, foreign secretary level meeting is not a good idea for Modi government. Why? Because Modi ji has been consistently telling us that he was going to promote relations between Pakistan and India. So therefore, it is not a major reaction and is not a good idea for this government. Because categorically, Mr. Modi has said that he was going to promote relations between the two countries, and this is not a good idea. This is my understanding of the situation. Modi government could have, she disapproved the Hurriyat's meeting with High Commissioner and expressed its, displeasure.
No, but Mr.
Going to this extent
Mr.
is not
Sos,
correct.
Mr. Sos,
Yes.
what do you have to say to the Pakistan's defense that every time there are meetings between India and major meetings between India and Pakistan, these kind of consultations are normally held.
I will tell you what I have to tell Pakistan and the Hurriyat.
Yes.
Both to Pakistan I say you don't achieve any purpose by inviting Hurriyat for a cup of tea or exchanging pleasantries with your High Commissioner in Delhi. And I have all the time been telling Hurriyat that it is not good for them to go to Pakistan High Commission in Delhi and open a dialogue through High Commission. It will never serve any purpose for them. And having said this, I disagree with Modi government on cancelling or postponing foreign secretary level talks.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. I'm told that you want to leave. Thank you, Mr. Sos. Mr. Shariq. Mr. Shariq, how do you look at this? The national conference. The fact of the matter is that the government is very clear. They're telling the Pakistan government either you talk to us or you talk to Hurriyat. So it's very clear from the Indian government standpoint that Hurriyat leaders do not matter. You think that as far as any peace talks are concerned, can the Hurriyat leaders be kept aside as the Indian government is suggesting to the Pakistan government? Mr. Shariq? Okay, I think we have got some audio problems there. We'll go back to him later. Radha Kumar, you heard this, what is it? How do you look at this? Do you think that the Indian government has taken the right stand by telling the Pakistan government you either talk to us or you talk to Hurriyat?
Well, first of all, I don't know that they've actually put it in those words.
This is what has been reported.
Let me say 2 or 3 different things on this.
Yes.
First of all, it's my belief that if you are going to discuss Jammu and Kashmir, it is worth taking on board all the different opinions of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.
I would have sought for the Foreign Secretary to have meetings in Pakistan with dissidents from Mirpur, Muzaffarabad, Gilgit-Baltistan and other parts of Jammu and Kashmir that are held by the Pakistanis.
Right.
And I believe that it has long been a failing of our government that we have not talked to dissidents on that side, or indeed to the elected representatives as well.
Right.
There are many different points of view and opinions that need to be canvassed.
Right. Okay. Mr. Bhadra.
However, when it comes to this question of the government of India saying to the Pakistani government, please do not talk to the Hurriyat
right.
at this point, and the Pakistani High Commissioner simply disregarding that request,
absolutely,
that is a major diplomatic issue.
Absolutely.
And the Pakistanis, by continuing these meetings, have escalated it.
Right.
And more or less, there will have to be a reaction from the government of India.
Right.
Simply cancelling the talks may not be a sufficient reaction given this escalation.
Absolutely. Mr. Bhadra Kumar, that is the key question, Can government of India now keep quiet? The Pakistan High Commissioner continues to meet the Hurriyat leaders. What is the option before the Indian government? Mr. Vijay Goel obviously doesn't want to commit to any position. He says that just the fact that we have cancelled the talks is a strong enough signal.
Well, to my mind, this is not a sufficient signal. It is an overreaction. This question of the Hurriyat interacting with Pakistan and the international community was deliberated, was discussed threadbare during the Narasimha Rao government in 1993. And at that time, I remember quite well that, overruling a lot of opposition within the Indian establishment, bureaucracy particularly, security establishment, foreign establishment, so on. Mr. Narasimha Rao decided, Prime Minister Narasimha Rao decided that Hurriyat people should be allowed to go to Geneva for the Human Rights Commission thing. Now, his explanation was very simple, that we have nothing to hide. And mind you, at that time in 1993, Kashmir was bleeding. We have a far more comfortable position today. So I really don't know why we should be jittery about, he allowed Hurriyat's interaction with the Organization of Islamic Conference, with the United Nations Human Rights Commission, NGOs, and, they have even been visiting Pakistan. So at this point in time, when, we have got a, relatively speaking, looking back, a couple of decades, a far more comfortable position, I think this reaction was not warranted. That's my reading. Because you see, the thing is this, that, it is very important to test the Pakistani intentions. And to my mind, the Foreign Secretary level talks was a very good opportunity for us. And we've closed that window of opportunity without testing, their intentions and their readiness to move forward after the magnificent gesture that Prime Minister Narendra Modi made in May to invite the Pakistani Prime Minister to come here. So I think...
No, but as far as the Pakistan High Commissioner's decision to continue the talks despite the Indian government saying it, how do you look at it as a diplomat?
No, you see, the point is this, that this is not a question of diplomatic propriety. Kashmir issue is not a diplomatic issue. It's a political issue. There is a territorial dispute. And as a sovereign country, Pakistan has its concerns. I'm not saying whether they are legitimate or not. I'm nobody to pass judgment on it. But I can't question their right, their prerogative to have their stance on Kashmir, which is different from India's. And they consider this from their point of view. And from their point of view, they have interacted with the Hurriyat all along. And it is not up to India to say that, that they should change their Kashmir brief. So I can't understand, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, we may be doing XYZ things on core issues of concern to us, despite the international community saying anything, despite the United Nations Security Council passing resolutions on Kashmir. We refuse to give in. Kashmir is an integral part of India. And period. It's a bottom line.
Right.
So similarly, Pakistan has its brief on Kashmir. And this is tantamount to proposing to Pakistan that Pakistan should amend its brief. I don't think it is within our capacity to do that.
Siddharth, the question now is what can the Indian government do and what should the Indian government do? In fact, in the present situation that it finds itself in, as Dr. Radha Kumar says, that it looks as if the Pakistan High Commissioner is defying the Indian government. Though Mr. Bhadra Kumar's point of view is...
But this is a situation that the government has created.
Yeah, please continue.
This is a situation that the government has created for itself. Hurriyat leaders have been meeting with Pakistani High Commission officials way back since 1999, perhaps even earlier.
Right.
And they've been interacting with international players going back to the early 90s. Today, India has no reason to worry about this phenomenon. These meetings, in my view, actually lack any political significance because the Hurriyat's own role in the valley has diminished, and Pakistan's capacity to challenge India's territorial, to challenge the political or territorial status quo in Jammu and Kashmir has diminished over the last 20 years. The Hurriyat is not an illegal organization in India. It's not banned. Its leaders are free to move and meet people. And yes, I agree that from India's point of view, Pakistan meeting Hurriyat leaders repeatedly is distasteful, it's unhelpful.
So is it not provocative also? Some people...
I don't see what Pakistan gains, I don't see what the Hurriyat gains.
Siddharth, it's also seen as...
not a reason to call off the talks.
Siddharth, sorry, it is also seen as provocative. Some people feel that, in fact, that what the Pakistan government is doing through its High Commissioner is basically provoking the Indian government. Would you see it like that?
Well, even if it is provocative, we have to ask the question, what is the response that Pakistan is trying to provoke, and who is trying to do this provocation? We know that within Pakistan, the military, the Islamists, other hardliners are not in favor of dialogue with India. So obviously, if we are going to get provoked into cancelling talks because of this meeting, inconsequential meeting between Mr. Shabir Shah and Abdul Basit or whoever it is who met today, then I think we've, in a sense, walked into a trap here, quite frankly, and we've backed ourselves into a position, because consider where we go from here.
Absolutely.
It's very hard for me to imagine that any future government in Pakistan is going to dissociate itself from the Hurriyat, right? It would have been very unfair, or it would have been very unrealistic for us to imagine, after yesterday's cancellation, that today's meeting would not take place between the High Commissioner and the Hurriyat, because no government in Pakistan can afford to show itself as dancing to the diktat of India, right? So we've put ourselves into a corner, and if Pakistan doesn't back off from there, then are we saying there will be no more dialogue between India and Pakistan? Have we then raised the bar to such a level that even normalization of the kind that we want on trade issues and others will no longer be possible? I think this is a serious question that we have to ask ourselves.
Okay, Mr. Vijay Goel, that is a serious concern. How do you respond to that? That, you know, can India tell Pakistan that don't talk to anybody from Kashmir? And if they continue to talk, what do you do? And what is the next step you can take?
एक तरफ हम कहते हैं कि ये डिसटेस्टफुल है कि पाकिस्तान उच्चायुक्त के अधिकारी हुर्रियत लीडर से, अलगाववादियों से बात कर रहे हैं, और दूसरी तरफ हम कह रहे हैं कि बात वो करते रहें और हम उसके ऊपर कोई भी रिएक्शन नहीं करें। सबसे बड़ी बात है उसके टाइमिंग क्या चुने गए हैं। उसके टाइमिंग चुने गए हैं जबकि विदेश सचिवों की बैठक होने वाली है जी। और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने तो शपथ समारोह में नवाज शरीफ साहब को बुलाकर एक अच्छा संदेश दिया था कि हम अपने पड़ोसी देशों के साथ संबंध अच्छे रखना चाहते हैं। पर इस समय पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो प्रधानमंत्री नवाज शरीफ हैं वो जिहादियों से घिरे हुए हैं, वे फौज से घिरे हुए हैं, और वे बाकी सब फोर्सेस से घिरे हुए हैं। इमरान खान उनके खिलाफ एजिटेशन चला रहे हैं। ऐसे के अंदर मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया के अंदर वे अपना मैसेज भेजना चाहते हैं ताकि उनको उनकी पॉलिटिक्स में मदद मिल सके। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई आसमान गिरेगा अगर हमने विदेश सचिवों की मीटिंग को कैंसिल कर दिया है, पर एक सख्त संदेश जाना बहुत जरूरी था, वो सख्त संदेश दिया गया है। लेकिन जहां तक हुर्रियत लीडर्स का, अभी पाकिस्तान के उच्चायुक्त वाले जो उनको एंटरटेन कर रहे हैं, मैं नहीं समझता कि वो गुड टेस्ट के अंदर होगा और उनको ये करना चाहिए। क्या हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री या दूसरे लोग जाएं और हमारे उच्चायुक्त लोग पाकिस्तान के दूसरे लोगों से बात करें तो क्या उनको अच्छा लगेगा? और जो भी बात करनी है वो इंडियन गवर्नमेंट करेगी। जिन भी अलग अलग लोगों से बात करनी है या अलग अलग ग्रुप से बात करनी है या अलग अलग फैक्शन से बात करने हैं, तो मैं समझता हूं कि इंडिया ने एक अच्छा संदेश दिया है और ऐसा संदेश देने की आवश्यकता थी। यहां लोग सिर्फ यही आर्गुमेंट ले रहे हैं कि पिछले दिनों के अंदर भी, पिछले सालों के अंदर भी क्योंकि ये मिलते रहे हैं इसलिए इनको मिलने देना चाहिए। पिछले सालों के अंदर बहुत कुछ हुआ है कि आप युद्ध जीतते थे उसके बाद जमीन दे देते थे, तो क्या हर बार ऐसा होगा? क्योंकि पाकिस्तान के अंदर सीधा युद्ध लड़ने की क्षमता नहीं है, डायरेक्ट वो नहीं लड़ सकते, इसलिए इनडायरेक्टली वो लोग लड़ते हैं आतंकवादियों के थ्रू। इसलिए तो उनके पास ये मैसेज जाना बहुत जरूरी था, जो मैसेज मोदी की सरकार ने दिया है।
So you are obviously you're not talking about what further steps need to be taken. Anyway, it's also a point that, you know, just previous government, some of the previous governments included the NDA government of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who had allowed at least 4 or 5 meetings between these two. Anyway, we will come come to that later. Sharifuddin, Shariq, are you there? Can you hear me? I think we have lost him again. Radha Kumar. Now the question now is that, you know, the government of India, what are the options before it? As Siddharth was pointing out, that, you know, it looks as if we have, by doing what they have done, according to Siddharth, you know, we have closed many doors also. Now you think that, you know, at this stage where it looks like the whole thing has escalated to a higher level, partly also because of the stand taken by the Pakistan government and its High Commissioner, where does the Indian government stop now?
Let me go back a step. The key reason why almost all of our talks initiatives have failed or done badly is that the background homework and the preparation has not been adequate. Now, in the case of this particular talks that was scheduled for the 25th of August, the real question is what were the preparations for what was going to be on the agenda of these talks?
Right.
What were the two foreign secretaries going to do? Were they going to formulate the structure of the dialogue? Were they going to say, okay, let's review progress on all of the 7 or 8 different issues and where we can move forward further on it? There has to be, for any dialogue to progress, there has to be a code of conduct. Are they clear between themselves on what the code of conduct is that each one expects of the other? These are the matters that they need to actually work on, and I would say that rather than now saying that this is the end of a line, treat this as the beginning, that now please do your homework and figure out what you expect of the other, how you expect them to behave, what is the nature of the dialogue. We all agree that if it comes to Jammu and Kashmir, then the people of Jammu and Kashmir must be part of the consultative process. In which way is that to happen?
Exactly.
Do our high commissioners on both sides hold regular meetings with dissidents on either side? Do they talk regularly to the elected representatives on either side? How is this structure to be evolved?
Right.
You can't have this ad hoc business anymore, obviously. And I'm afraid there has been an escalation, and they need, especially seriously, to talk about how do you avoid escalation.
Okay, Bhadra Kumar, how do you de-escalate the issue? Can we expect any de-escalation to happen in the near future at all, after the kind of words being used and what has happened?
Very difficult to predict, because I am inclined to agree with what Mr. Siddharth Varadarajan said. That we have allowed ourselves to be entrapped.
Bhadra Kumar, sorry, I think we have got Mr. Sharifuddin Shariq, the former MP of the National Conference. Mr. Shariq, can you hear me?
Okay. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Shariq.
Yes.
Mr. Shariq, what is your and your party's stand on what the government of India has done? Do you think that it is the right move of the Indian government to have?
No, it was not wise move. It is not wise move. If we are really sincere about the reducing of tensions and doing good to our poor people of the both countries, we should have to resume the dialogue immediately and don't take notice of these small things, because these Hurriyat people have been meeting Pakistan ambassadors, going there, meeting international authorities for the last so many years. It has not affected anywhere to us.
Right. But Mr. Shariq, it is also said that the Hurriyat leaders, all these Hurriyat leaders have been marginalized. They don't matter too much in Kashmir. Why should these leaders?
That may be also true, but these policies of government of India will give them further blood unnecessarily. No problem.
Okay, that's an interesting point. That's an
interesting. They should allow everybody to talk to them. Let them talk to Pakistan. Let them talk to Prime Minister. Let them talk to anybody and find out some way to reduce the tension and give peace to both countries.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Shariq. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Bhadra Kumar. That's an important point you made.
Yes.
That you have actually given some oxygen to these leaders who had been marginalized apparently in the Kashmir Valley.
You see, the point is we need to have a greater degree of self-confidence on this front. Hurriyat doesn't represent the aspirations of the Kashmiri people. There has been a very fairly fair and genuine democratic process there. There is a legitimate government there. We are heading for fresh elections. The will of the people can be freely expressed in that election.
You're talking of fresh elections in Kashmir?
In Kashmir.
Yeah.
So I think we should have focused more on that instead of taking this nitty-gritty thing to try to send, as it were, as we claim, a message for Pakistan. Now, the point is, one more thing I wanted to say. In any of these kind of things of an adversarial relationship, professionally, it is my opinion that, we should be able to understand the other's perspective. We always have to think from their point of view.
Right.
Otherwise, diplomacy doesn't work. It gets into logjam.
And what is the other point of view?
And the other point of view is Pakistan has also got its concerns. Even though, and I am very sure Pakistanis know it also, that beyond a point, the Hurriyat is irrelevant to the situation there. But nonetheless, they have to be seen as interacting with the Hurriyat. And we should have the sagacity to understand what is the compulsion for them to do that.
Okay. Siddharth, how... Mr. Shariq's argument that by doing this, the government is actually giving some oxygen to these Hurriyat leaders who had apparently been marginalized, as you yourself were pointing out earlier.
No, Mr. Shariq is right. I think that this has been a very unnecessary and, it's an overreaction. And I think we need to take a step back and ask ourselves a more fundamental question. Kashmir is obviously an area of dispute between India and Pakistan. As Indians, we regard it as an integral part of Indian territory. And there the matter should end. But Pakistan believes that it has a claim on Kashmiri territory. So the Pakistani position is not a mystery. And the Hurriyat, a large section of the Hurriyat also believes that J&K should not be a part of India. And they want to have some kind of an alternate solution.
Right.
Now, why should it surprise us if the government of Pakistan and the Hurriyat, who share a basic objective, meet from time to time to decide on a joint strategy? To my mind, it doesn't make any difference to the strength and justness of the Indian position. And India ought to have full confidence in its diplomatic, political and military capabilities at the end of the day to deal with any kind of diplomatic challenge or security challenge or political challenge that Pakistan may mount either by itself or by garnering the support of individual political actors here and there like the Hurriyat. So I think that and secondly, let's not forget, Nawaz Sharif, in a meeting which was attended by senior Pakistani military officers barely a week or 10 days ago, lamented the fact that India and Pakistan's relations are not what they should be. You cannot have a clearer expression of a desire to improve relations with India. So clearly, Pakistan's own establishment is deeply divided.
Right.
Nawaz Sharif, by coming for Prime Minister Modi's swearing in, the remarkable gesture that he made to invite Nawaz Sharif and all the SAARC leaders, the fact that Nawaz Sharif came and had a meeting and went back with a positive message, he was clearly intending to build upon that.
Right.
Now, for us to allow this rather routine, Mr. Goel says, well, what is the point of having this meeting? Well, these meetings happened even, Vajpayee ji invited Musharraf after Kargil for the Agra summit, and what did Musharraf do? Before going to Agra, he attended a tea reception with the Hurriyat leaders. Did Brajesh Mishra ji and Vajpayee ji cancel the talks? They didn't do that. Because they said, let him do whatever drama he wants to do. We are very clear on what we want to accomplish through dialogue, and we're going to stick to that. And that's what the Modi government should have done. Okay,
Mr. Vijay Goel, at the end of the day, you think that decision which the government has taken can be sustained for a long period of time? How long do you expect Indian government to take this tough stand? And do you think that there is any hope of any revival of some kind of relations with Pakistan after having taken this kind of a tough stand?
I think they are only taking the argument that earlier also the Pakistan leaders or Pakistan people are meeting the Hurriyat leaders. ये मैं नहीं समझता कि ये कोई आर्गूमेंट है, क्योंकि पहले मिलते रहे हैं इसलिए अभी भी मिलेंगे और ये ज़रूरी है. अभी भी आप देख रहे हैं कि बॉर्डर के ऊपर गोलीबारी होती है, तो उसके ऊपर कहीं ना कहीं इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को कोई ना कोई टफ स्टैंड लेना था और मैं समझता हूं उन्होंने ये टफ स्टैंड लिया है. इसका मतलब ये भी मत समझिए कि दोबारा कभी वार्ता शुरू नहीं हो सकती. इससे पहले भी बहुत सारी हुई हैं, उसके बाद वार्ताएं शुरू हुई हैं. कम से कम पाकिस्तान को एक संदेश जाना जरूरी था. मैं आज तक मैंने नहीं देखा कभी पाकिस्तान के उच्चायुक्त को इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से मिलते हुए, चाहे वो ओमर अब्दुल्ला हों या महबूबा मुफ्ती हों या कोई और हों. वे आते हैं और हुर्रियत लीडर से मिलते हैं और वो भी उस समय मिलते हैं जबकि विदेश सचिवों की टॉक होने वाली है. तो पाकिस्तान अपनी तरफ से एक मैसेज दे रहा था. तो मुझे लगता है कि हमने अगर एक मैसेज दिया है तो देश की जनता उसको अच्छा समझती है कि पाकिस्तान के साथ थोड़ा टफ होने की आवश्यकता है. पर जो लोग ये समझते हैं कि इसके बाद कभी वार्ताएं नहीं होंगी, इसके साथ संबंध खराब हो जाएंगे, तो मैं लगता हूं ऐसा कभी भी नहीं होता है. आगे आने वाली बात के ऊपर अगर पाकिस्तान अपनी चीजों को ठीक करेगा तो जाहिर तौर पर यह बात हो सकती है. और इसी तरह से प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने अपने ओथ सेरेमनी के ऊपर उनको बुलाकर जो मैसेज दिया है, ऐसा बीच बीच के अंदर मैसेज होंगे. तो इसलिए इसका मतलब ये नहीं निकालना चाहिए कि भारत और पाकिस्तान के संबंध एकदम बिगड़ गए हैं, किंतु उनको एक मैसेज देना जरूरी था और मैं समझता हूं वो दिया गया है.
Okay, I think we are completely run out of time. Blow hot, blow cold. That seems to be the message, according to Mr. Vijay Goel. Maybe we will see as Mr. Vijay Goel feels that this is not the end of the road and there can be a revival at some point of time or the message had to be sent. How the message has been taken, we have seen. it's very unfortunate that the Pakistan High Commissioner doesn't seem to have got the message of what the government of India was trying to send. But we will wait and watch how it will all develop. Thanks to all my guests, Radha Kumar, Siddharth Varadarajan, Bhadra Kumar, and Vijay Goel, and also the two guests who had joined us from Kashmir. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in Big Picture same time tomorrow.